I'm Ely Valdez, the CEO of Solar Farm Services. We have a company that specializes in vegetation management for large-scale sites, and part of our team is a group or a flock of 10,000 head of sheep, though. So what we do, we specialize on a specific task that is vegetation management. We've been doing this since 2016, and back in the day, we started with 27 head of sheep, and we've been blessed that now our flock is a little bit over 10,000 head of sheep.
Hello, my name is Eric Valdez. I'm a second generation sheep producer. I've been working with my dad here since I was I'd say like 12 years old. Been working with them ever since, and I'm in charge of, well, I'm one of the ones in charge in the South Texas production for sheep.
I think it was the perfect timing. Back in the day, I was working on the oil field. This was back in 2015. A lot of layoffs, a lot of instability of work, though. At the same time, they built a small site across the street from our house, which at the time was a big site. It's 100 acres, though. We were running a small flock of about 27 head of sheep. Me and my wife were walking through there, and I told my wife, it would be great if we could put our sheep here and maybe grow our flock to about 100 head of sheep. That was my goal, 100 head of sheep and no more. So the days went by, we saw a technician came out there, and we asked the technician if we could put some sheep in there. And he said, well, let me run it with my boss. Next day I get a call from the boss, and he said, Eli, I heard you have some sheep that you want to put on our site. I said, yes, I would love to put sheep on your site. And then the magic question came and said, how much would you charge us? And that's when a huge light bulb moment came up to us, though. So we are still amazed and blown away that we would never thought this was going to take over our lives and be a blessing for me and my family, though. So for the last 9 years, we expanded our flock from 27 to a little bit over 10,000 head of sheep. And we went from a 3-man crew to about 85-man crew, though. So it's been a really blessing for us, though. And now we got, I call myself a first generation. Now we got the second generation that is hopefully going to be involved with us.
Well, the first thing we'll do is feed the sheep, and then we'll get all the equipment on the trailer, and we'll go down to the solar farm. But on the solar farm we were cutting on, we would also have sheep on there. So sometimes we would, while we were cutting grass, we would also feed the sheep there, fill up their water tanks, make sure they're drinking water, make sure they're okay. Feed the dogs that are with the sheep, and then that would last until 4 p.m. 4 p.m. we finish up. We put all the equipment on the trailer, and that's pretty much it. We go home, and then at our house we have more sheep. So when we get to our house, we feed the other sheep that are waiting for us at the house. We started off with the landscaping, and then how my dad said is he got the idea of putting the sheep on the solar farm. So since we already had a connection with the solar farm, cutting grass for them, it just worked perfectly putting the sheep on the solar farm because we already had a good connection with them pretty much. So it all worked out. Yeah.
And that's where we call, and we started with the hybrid system, though. We're the ones that started with the hybrid system back in 2017, because a lot of these sites are way too big just to handle sheep, especially here in Texas. Though we hear a lot of the sites up north where they're a couple hundred acres. Our smallest site right now is 100 acres. Our biggest site is 7,000 acres, though. So even that we still run 10,000 head of sheep, we have to use a hybrid system where we use a mechanical and a grazing method, though. And that's been working out well for us, though. So when I say grazing sheep, though, that's part of what we do, but it's not grazing sheep. It's a special service or a unique service that we offer, though. So we can either do the mechanical or we use the grazing, which we prefer the grazing, though. A lot of the customers are realizing all the benefits that we get with the sheep as for soil and more environmental friendly. They want to decide with the sheep. So it's a combination of both worlds. So which helps well. So we have on one side we have the mechanical crew, and it's your regular landscaping duties where you pick up the equipment, oil changes, you get to cut, you blow, and you bring back. On the sheep side, it's a 24/7 job though. So the sheep stay at the site though, dogs stay at the site. We have a shepherd that maintains the sheep and takes care of the sheep, but we don't have one site, we have multiple sites though. So on one site we might have 500 ewes, and another side we might have a couple thousand ewes. So there's a lot of moving parts to get this going though. It's not an easy task. Like anybody out there that has livestock, we know that there's no Sundays or Christmas Eves for us. We have to be out there every day though. So that's the beauty about this job, and that's the unique service that we offer to our customers, is that we have the option of the mechanical, or we have the option of grazing the sheep at site. I could guarantee you is that a solar farm that is being used with sheep will be the best place to farm 25 years down the road. So imagine you have a place that you have a contract for 25 or 30 years, and they decommissionize the site, they remove everything. That is going to be the perfect soil for farming though. So it's been for the last 25 years, it's been fertilized, it's been the soil has been stable, that anything that you plant there is going to do amazing. So yeah, that's a great question. You know, it's been a blessing though. A lot of the community that works with us on different sites is community that either they started working with the EPC company. The EPC company or the construction company will get to a certain point where they hire all the locals, but they're going to be there for only a year and a half, 2 years, and they start laying off people as they get close to completion though. Where we've been blessed and we've been strategically open to work is we hire most of these folks and they stay with us. So they have a secure job for the next 25 years, and it's a huge blessing. We've been approached from mayors and city councils, and they congratulate us though, because we hire 4 or 5 people out of the EPC that go straight to us though. So it's been well. It's been working well. That's the strategy that we would be using though. 80%, or I would say 75 or 80% that people that work from us are started this project from scratch though. Yeah. So they came in, like we have the guys in Pearsall, they came in with the EPC company, and they were already either cutting grass and they know the site better than anyone else though. Mm-hmm. So it's a huge advantage for us though. It's worked out well. We started 9 years ago with the breed Great Pyrenees, which that was at the time was the dog that was used with flocks. The issue with the Great Pyrenees is that their long hair coat though. So we started introducing the Anatolian and then the Akbash, and we have our own kind of a mix of Akbash, Anatolian. So 90% of our dogs are kind of a short hair Akbash mix, mm-hmm. And we try not to breed as much as we can, but we do have a couple males and females those are our seed stock that are really good with the sheep. There's no aggression issues with any human interactive, and that's the kind of the dogs that we breed once or twice a year. The rest of the dogs we spade or neuter them. So and I think our magic number is about 3 dogs with every 500 head of sheep. Mm-hmm. You get more than 3 dogs, and we start seeing a lot of alpha dominations, or they start. Yeah. There's always one that's gonna. So the way we see it, we have 3 dogs: one that chases the coyotes, one that stays with the flock, mm-hmm. and the other one will either bark all night though. So they do their job though. Yeah. A lot of people will say, well, 3 dogs, it's not enough for 500 head of sheep though, but that's our number. We move our sheep every 2 weeks, and the dogs will follow. And once in a while, they'll interact. A flock right next to the fence line, and we see the dogs want to fight each other, but it's part of their nature, though. It's they're territorial, though. So I think right now we're about a little bit over 50 dogs. Yeah. And most of these dogs are almost from the same male dog that we've been using, because he's He's really good, right?
Yeah, all the puppies we've had, they have all grown up in the solar farm.
Yep.
Like the puppies are actually born in the solar farm.
Yeah, yeah. We have our oops moments where I didn't realize, I forgot that we didn't neuter or spay this dog, and we'll go out there and we'll see the dog where they'll make like a little dent underneath the panels, and we'll see a whole bunch of puppies come out. Like, where did these come from? They'll say,
like 6 puppies just spawn out of nowhere.
Yeah. And we try to get him attached as much as we can to a human contact. And we tell the technicians and the owners, if you see dogs, don't feed them, don't interact them, because if you start giving them a treat, they're going to follow you all over the place. You know, that's the nature of the dogs, though. But we have our own little community. We have a full-time vet that he takes care of all our records, and he's in charge of all of it, right?
Yeah.
And he gets to travel a lot of those. So once in a while, we have challenges where we'll move a flock to a different section, and there's a dog that stays behind, or we can't catch a dog. That's a whole ordeal. We got to set up a trailer with some dog food, put him in there, trap him, and take him to the other side. And some of these dogs don't turn out to be the best, and we try to find a good home for them. So they'll be good house dogs or pets, though. So that's why we have a whole bunch of dogs at the house, right?
Yeah, we have I think last time I counted it was like 12 dogs.
12 dogs, and these were dogs that either we retired from the site, like one of them is 7 or 8 years old. And
he used to work at the
He
solar
used
farm.
to work really good at the solar farm, but he was staying behind and having some issues with arthritis and stuff like that. So he stays at home, and now he's about my size. He's got bagels.
And then we have a dog, a female dog, that all her pups that were born at our house are now working at a solar farm. Yeah. And they're real good pups.
Really good pups. Yeah. It's like a graduation. We try to make sure that we'll put those pups inside a pen with some sheep, and they get used to us going in and out, though. And then we'll take them to the side in a smaller pen, and then we open the pen, and they get introduced with the other pack of dogs that we have, though. So. Yeah. And I saw a post where someone said, well, there's a research that they're trying to accomplish saying that dung beetles will help the parasite issue. And when they say help the parasite issue, like, gosh, that's one of our biggest issues, though. Even if there's a slightly chance of dung beetles helping us with the parasite issue, I'm going to take that chance, though. Then we start reading more into it, though, how they help the soil. Maybe there's the chance that they help with the parasites, though. It's a huge benefit. So we've seen sections where 3 years ago, and I go back again, where it's bare ground, and the dung beetles and the sheep have done an amazing job, though. And it's pretty amazing, though. People say, well, what happens when you move the sheep to a different section? If you pay close attention, you'll see the dung beetles fly right next to them. Yes. I've seen where we're moving 1,000 head of sheep, and you see a dust cloud, and you turn around, and a day after that, the dung beetles will start flying right next to them.
And is that something you have to get clearance on?
On some of the sites, yes, because this is something new for us too, though. And there was a lot of questions from the site, like, are they going to go inside of our equipment? Are they going to have any issue with the panels? And so far, so good, though. It's been great acceptance, though. It's helped a lot on our end, though. And there's a protocol that we have to follow, and it's a simple protocol. We don't use ivermectin on sheep because ivermectin will kill the dung beetles. We don't use. We got to be careful what kind of herbicides that we're going to use. Herbicides. We try not to use any herbicides. A lot of times we gotta spray around the inverter pads and stuff like that, though. But it's a nice combination. So we thought solar panels and sheep were a great combination. I think sheep panels and dung beetles are a perfect combination, though. So they do well. They do well, and a lot of research is being done, and I think it's a win-win. So I had no idea there was a website out there that was selling dung beetles. So I talked to a lady, and we use a dung beetle called Gazelle, and there's two or three different dung beetles that we mix in. One of them are a little bit more aggressive on the manure, and some of them are a little bit slower, but they're bigger. So when I asked the person that sells the dung beetles, I think they were coming in packages of a 40 or 50. We ended up buying the whole stock for 2024 of those. So which a lot of people was like, hey, I heard you bought the whole store. I said, we bought the whole store. So we incorporated about 40,000 dung beetles. I think this year we're going to actually harvest some of the dung beetles that we put in this site, and we're going to take them to different sites and kind of get the most of them. So yeah, we work side by side with pollinators. There's usually, the way I've seen it in the past is when the EPC is working on a mix of grass and flowers, they'll leave certain areas for the pollinators, and that area usually does not get disturbed until maybe wintertime or fall time, and that's something that we either keep the sheep away, try to keep the sheep away, and that's where the polywire works for us though, and they'll tell us, Eli, maybe from April to October, we're gonna not interrupt the section. And it's a variety of flowers, and it's nice though. It's really nice. We've got a couple companies or farmers that they're doing solar honey, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's nice to see wildlife and Mother Nature interact. Though if you go to some of our sites, usually April, May, you'll see a strip that is mowed on each side, and then in the middle you'll see a round thing with tall grass, and we'll get the technician saying, Eli, you missed a spot. I say, no, let me show you. And there's a Rio Grande turkey nest there, though. So we try not to interrupt that, though. We've seen deer inside.
A lot of deer.
We've seen a lot of black bucks that got out of a ranch, and they actually run with the sheep. So we get to see a lot of Mother Nature out there, though. A lot, right?
Yeah, a lot of it.
And we try not to disturb it, though. Like the Rio Grande turkey, I think that's the name of it. The season when it starts, we see a lot of nesting in the middle of the array, and you'll see a section where maybe 10 or 12 different nests, and it's nice to get there early in the morning and you start seeing all this wildlife interact with the solar and the sheep, though. Even the dogs get so used to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mess with it.